For those uninitiated to the story, I live alone, or I thought I did. I noticed stuff in the house moving, like plates in different places or lights I had off turned on when I came home. A friend of mine, Jeff, who insisted on checking out the activity in the house, decided to do surveillance. What he found shocked him and me. I have an amalgamation in my house that wants to kill me and make me possess one of my toys, or that Grim Reaper animatronic I saw in my drunken stupor. Where we left off, I was forged with the task to figure out what the amalgamation wanted. So I made a dinner date with the devil, or I guess demons. I finally cranked on the stove, which I hadn't touched in ages since I moved into the place. I made a crispy duck and mashed potatoes with rice and broccoli. A dessert of no-bake Oreo pie with an assortment of fine and expensive wine. This is fucking stupid, I thought as I finished setting up the dinner table. I got my dolls all around the table with an empty chair on the end of the table, with the other end open for myself. There's no way this will work. This thing wants to have me for dinner, not have dinner with me, I thought, feeling like a fool, knowing that Jeff is watching this as we speak. We had made arrangements for him to watch this so he can find out what to do next with the entity, if I could summon him or her or it. My phone had given off text notifications. Who is it now? I asked and looked at the phone. It was Jeff. Make sure to light the taper candles and dim the lights. I read the notification on my lock screen. What is this, a seance? I thought, and grabbed the taper candles from the closet in their respective holders. I had to chuckle at the thought of it. This has to be a movie plot. I can only imagine that at one point the camera crew is going to come in and you'll hear someone yell, "Cut! End scene!" I laughed and then paused. Wait, who the feck is...
It's me, Legion.
The voice boomed in a dark, demonic tone like in the tape. I turned and looked around the room. I saw no one or nothing move. I'm not even drunk yet, I thought, and was milling around a bit over the last-minute stuff before I sat down. Okay, I think I have everything. Duck is cooked crisp and prime. I have the food properly set out and arranged, and the plates are set up with the proper dinner time setup for cutlery. The wine is out and on ice in a bucket. I have the candles set up and the book of matches in my...
Stop stalling and sit down so we can eat. I haven't ate this good since the 18th century.
Okay, let me light these. I sigh.
Fine, and turn off the lights.
Okay, thanks for being patient. I'm talking to the voices in my house. I must be losing it, I thought, and shook my head. Dinner was largely uneventful at least. No dolls moving autonomously or the candles exploding. I had my eyes on the food and relishing it. Man, I outdid myself, I said and smiled. I looked up at the table, not expecting anything of value given the past 20 minutes. At the end of the table, I saw a thing in the chair. I'll describe it in detail. This entity was a shadow. Like I know it's dark in the house, but the candles couldn't even light up the chair anymore. I only knew something was there because it was eating. It was eating. I watched it pick up some of the rice with a spoon, and it went into the entity where its mouth should be, and the rice was gone. I couldn't believe my eyes. The entity had a shadowy aura, and I could feel its eyes piercing me. It was eyeing me up like a predator leers at its prey. You're staring at me, right? I asked.
Now, staring is rude, but you do look delicious.
I shuddered. What do you want from me? Silence surrounded me. I paused and drank some of the wine. Nothing. I looked at the chair. The entity had left for some reason. Fine, leave me in suspense, I said a bit timidly. I think the entity was wearing Victorian-era clothing, but I couldn't confirm it. I'm speculating based on what it said about the century. I bet I could see it on the tape, I thought, and kept eating my dinner. After the dinner and putting it away, I texted Jeff. Did you see the entity? Yeah, he texted back. What did it look like? It looked like Jack. Our coworker Jack? I texted. I asked, surprised. Why would he prank us? No, Jack the Ripper, from the Whitechapel area in London. You know, the killer no one could confirm their identity? I laughed. Jack the Ripper? You know how crazy that sounds. Do you want to see the tapes or not to prove it? He asked in a text. I could sense his anger behind that question. I wanted to view the tape anyway. I texted him back. Aside from the zany conspiracies Jeff has had, Jack the Ripper? There is no way this entity is a Victorian-era serial killer. A book fell in the living room, causing me to jump in my skin. I walked over, putting my phone in my pocket. I saw the title of the book and caused me to jump. The Crimes of Jack the Ripper, The Whitechapel Murders Re-Examined by Paul Rowland. I looked into the Ripper back when I was a kid, and I have quite a collection of books about it. I know some people look at these as a career in finding out who done it. I think the term is Ripperology in that circle of the community. I wonder if maybe this entity is toying with me. I mean, there is no way Jack the Ripper is alive, still in the modern day era, over 180 years later. No way in the British Isles. At Jeff's place, I walked in, holding the book from my house. I thought you didn't believe me, he asked, a bit resentful and mockingly. Just so you know, I think it's silly, but I looked into the Ripper when I was in high school and my early adult years, I retorted. Just show me the tape. Okay, he said as we went to the surveillance room. He had it paused right when we started eating. I watched the video of me eating, and then I saw a mist enter the screen from the side where the empty chair was. A cloud of darkness descended from above on the chair, and I saw the figure sitting. He wore a top hat and a frilly white shirt, like the shirt Seinfeld wore in that puffy shirt episode. He had a double-breasted vest on, and long black-looking pants with platform shoes, and a long trench coat draped on the back of the chair, and a cane at his side leaning in between his leg and the arm of the chair. How do you explain that then? He asked and tapped the screen. I stood there taking it all in. That is Jack the Ripper, he said and tapped the screen with every single word.
Don't tap the glass.
I heard the entity scream as the head suddenly turned to look at us. Me and Jeff jumped back in fear. Feck, I almost shat myself, I said with intense trepidation in my voice. That wasn't supposed to happen, Jeff said. The scene resumed with the entity eating his dinner and me eating my dinner, and the conversation I had with the entity carried on like it happened at my place. Then, I saw the entity put his coat on, grab his cane, and fade through the chair, vanishing off screen when I asked if he wanted something from me. So, what does Jack the Ripper want from me that ties into murdering me and making me look like one of them? I asked, saying the last words in air quotes. Jeff had looked puzzled. I truthfully am just as dumbfounded as you are. I don't recall if Jack the Ripper had any unsolved business in his murder spree in England. And also, it does seem weird that he emerges just months after England's Queen Elizabeth II dies. Almost as if something in the family is holding Jack in limbo for those 70 years. So, you think the royal family is involved now too? I asked and eye rolled. Don't you look at me like that. I was right about the dinner date at least, but I think an exorcism isn't out of the question, Jeff said. I guess I gotta hit the books again about the Ripper and look into his crimes. Hopefully this little insanity doesn't make me go crazy, I said, and had started to head out of the door.
Come back soon. I do wish you to check in on him.
I heard the voice growl and look back at Jeff. Did you hear that? I asked. He looked at me confused. Hear what? Jeff said. I paused. Never mind, I said and walked out. See you at work tomorrow, I called out. Now I'm going back to school, hitting the books to see what Jack the Ripper did and has been rumored to have done. Maybe this will provide some answers. Oh, let's have another dinner date soon. I'm dying to get to know you more, my most relished host. As for now, I will read into the Ripper and see if the tape will provide some answers, and some relief at least for me and the rest of us in here. Until next time, see you souls soon and we'll keep you updated.